Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances and pranam. Uh, I invite you to the early morning short Bhagavatam class organized by ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Kulai, Mangaluru. I indeed invite you for and on behalf of His Grace Sri Namanista Das Prabhuji. Let us begin with prayers. Om Jnana Tamirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshununmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Picharine Nirvishisha Shunyavadi Paschata Desha Tarine Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Nadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Udupakram पदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारी श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
yes, Prabhuji, very clearly.
I think I'll just complete the prayers. We don't need to repeat and recite. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Surnatam Sugata Krishna Purya Shravana Kirtana Hradayanta Soyabhadrani Vidunoti Surestata नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Prescribed Duties of Mankind, Chapter 2, Ajamila, delivered by Vishnu Dutta. तैस्तान्यदानि पुयन्ते तपोध्वान व्रतादिभिः नाधर्मजं तदहृदयं तदपीठान्ति सेवया. ओके, नरसिंह वेंकट दास प्रभु जी.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. तैस्तान्यघाने पूयन्ते तपोदान व्रतादिभिः न धर्मजं तदहृदयं तदपि सांघ्रे सेवया. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
थैंक यू. सुरम्या माधवी देवीदास जी.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी.
तैस्तान्यघानि पूयन्ते तपोदानव्रतादिभिः न धर्मजं तद्हृदयं तदपि शाङ्घ्रि सेवया. I took a wrong
Sorry?
meter. I took a wrong meter, I think. Sorry. Anyway.
You'd like to do it again? Go ahead.
Yeah. तैस्तान्यघानि पूयन्ते तपोदानव्रतादिभिः नाधर्मजं तद्धृदयं तदपीशां अंग्रिसेवया. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you,
Thank
Mataji.
you.
Prakash Rao,
Thank
you are a co-host as well.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Taistranyasuni aghani puyante tapodana pratadivihi nadharmajam tadhrudayam tadapi sangri sevaya. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Pranandandini Madhavi Devidasi ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तैस्तानि अघनि पुण्यन्ते तपोदान व्रतादिभिः न धर्मजं तत् हृदयं तद अपि संगे सेवया। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Thank you. Vijaya Kumari Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणव प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। दैतानि अकानि भूयन्तो नवोदान वृदाभिः नाधर्मजं तत्कृदेम तत् अभिशांकरि सेवया। थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Mohini Devidasi ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रभु जी।
Hare
ओम
Krishna Mataji.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तैस्तानज्ञानि सॉरी प्रभु तैस्तानघानि पूयन्ते तपोधानव्रतादिभिः नाधर्मजं हृदयं तदपि ईशाङ्घ्रिसेवया। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
Thank you very much. Madhumayi Krishna Kant Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तैस्नान्यगानि पूयन्ते तपोधन व्रतादिभिः न अधर्मजं तद्हृदयं तदपि ईशांग्रि सेवया। थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Madhumati Vilasini Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तैस्तानि अघानि पूयन्ते तपोदान व्रत आदिभिः न अधर्मजं तदधृदयं तदपि शांग सेवया। थैंक यू प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Subbarao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तैस्तान्यगानि पूयन्ते तपोदानव्रतादिभिः नाधर्मजं तत्हृदयं तदपि शांघ्रि सेवया। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you. Uttama Padma Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तैतानि अगानि पूयन्ते तपद्धानारत आदिभिः न अधर्मजं तत्हृदयं तत्तपि ईश अंग्रि सेवया। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Thank you. Revati Ratnangi Devidasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, प्रणाम प्रभु जी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। तपोदानावृदादभिः नाधर्मजं तत्त्रितयं तत् अभिशांग्रि सेवया। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Jada Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
Hare Krishna Mataji. Go ahead.
दैस्तानि अगानि पूयन्ते तपोदानावृतादिभिः न धर्मजं तद्धृदयं तथादपि साङ्ग्री सेवया।
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Subbarao Prabhuji. Can you read synonyms for us? Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. I'll read Prabhuji. Tai, by those, tani, all those, aghani, sinful activities, and their results, puyante, become vanquished, tapaha, austerity, dana, charity, vrata adhibihi, by vows and others such activities, na, not adharmajam, produced from irreligious actions, tat of that, hridayam in the heart, that api also, isha angri of the lotus feet of the Lord, sevaya by service. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you, Subbarao Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42, Bhakti Pareshanubhava Viraktir Anyatrasya. Devotional service is so powerful that one who performs devotional service is immediately freed from all sinful desires. All desires within this material world are sinful because material desires means sense gratification, which always involves action that is more or less sinful. Pure bhakti, however, is anyabhilashita shunyam. In other words, it is free from material desires, which results from karma and jnana. One who is situated in devotional service no longer has material desires, and therefore he is beyond sinful life. Material desires should be completely stopped. Otherwise, although one's austerities, penances, and charity may free one from sin for the time being, one's desires will reappear because his heart is impure. Thus, he will act sinfully and suffer. This verse is extension of the previous verses and probably a final conclusion wherein very systematically, like a mathematical project, is explaining the detail about material desire. If you really look at it, there are two aspects in our life which are very important. One is material desire. Any desire that we owe or we have leads to kind of actions, and those actions or karmas lead to reactions which are sins. And thus, if this process continues, then getting out of the cycle is not possible. In other words, simple atonement and all the atonement procedures and processes which involves lots of sacrifices and karma kandas are good because they only take the sins away, but they are not effective at all in preventing the recurrence or the sins appearing again. If we clear ourselves of all the sins and purify ourselves by a devotional service, then and then our machine of production of material desire stops. If the material desire does not occur again, obviously you are not going to commit the action and the sins will never be produced. Thus, if we look at the whole gambit about atonement being not very strong and powerful as chanting of Hare Krishna mantra or devotional service is because of these difference that we see. In other words, any kind of karma kandas, any kind of purification procedures that you take up only for the purpose of sins would not take you will not take you a long way. If you want to go a long way, that means if you want to go back to Godhead, you want to finish your journey and go back to Him, then the only process available is bhakti yoga or devotional service. Once you are performing devotional service, not only it removes all the sins that you have gathered for millions and millions of births, but it also stops the process wherein these sins are reproduced or produced and collected. We had been talking about this in Bhagavad Gita, that if we do chanting and if we keep committing the offenses or the crimes or the impious activities, for an example, not following the four regulatory principles, then it certainly is not advisable because it does not take you on a spiritual path. In other words, it was said then that if you are chanting, that doesn't give you a license to commit those sinful activities which leads to impious life. Similarly, here also it goes one step further. In chanting, we are saying that we will prevent such and such actions and will follow the rules and regulations. Then and then chanting is going to be effective and will lead to purifying our heart eventually. Similarly, in devotional service, if you do just an atonement by some karma kanda, some yagna, or by some austerities, like giving charity or doing some penances, those are short-lived because that will remove the sins, but it will not stop the process where the sins are produced again. We all know ourselves that if we leave ourselves berserk or if we leave ourselves free in this society, I think we all are capable of committing millions and millions of offenses, insults, and commit the crimes. Because that's how our material mind is trained to get sense gratification anyhow at any cost. Probably in the material life, it is the fear of having repercussions or fear of having bad name or fear of having something else in the society which prevents one from committing those blunders. Similarly, when you do a devotional service, then only your heart gets purified and desire stops. If you just do an atonement, desire still will continue and will spoil your journey. This definitely confirms very well that it's the devotional service or bhakti yoga which can lead us to a long way, and not the simple processes of karma kanda. If we look at Saunakadi Rishis, Saunaka Rishi and all his compatriots, there were thousands of them. They all gathered, but when they gathered for the first time, they gathered to only perform sacrifices. As the sacrifices were going on, as and when they started hearing about the other scriptures, they realized more and more about more than karmakandas in the Vedas. And that clicked them eventually for all of them to convert themselves into devotees and continue with the devotional service, get the liberation, go back to Godhead, and serve the Lord with loving transcendental devotional service. So it's only the devotional service which can remove all the offenses, purify our heart. Unless the heart is purified, the desires always keep coming. And desires, as all of you know, is ultimately the cause of all the problems. Once your desires are gone, your attachment also goes. Or rather, it is reverse. If the attachment is gone, then desire goes. So if you look at the step by step following, as we are in a neophyte stage, we may continue with our chanting and following the rules and regulations and doing regularly the prayers as Srila Prabhupada has suggested every day. If you do that every day, as Srila Prabhupada says, eventually it becomes spontaneous. When it becomes spontaneous, that's when you start getting your heart purified. And when all the offenses are gone, all the anarthas are cleared up, that's when your attachment to the material world or to the any situation, any place, any action, any person, you never get attached to them. You do remain with them, but doesn't get attached to them. There's a difference between remaining with a person and getting attached to a person. If you are sleeping in an air-conditioned room, that's fine. But the moment you realize that you cannot live without air conditioner, that is your attachment to the air conditioner. You may live in your room, you may have comforts for the body, but even if it is not there, it shouldn't affect you mentally that you can't sleep. We all now at least know that we go to sleep because of our psychological status and tiredness. We do not go to sleep because there is an air conditioner. So that attachment goes, and once that attachment goes, though you remain with in the material world, you remain with the material body. Once your attachment is gone, that's when you are free and liberated. And that's what Srila Prabhupada keeps explaining, that in the present life, with the physical body, you can still remain liberated, self-realized soul. It's very important that we follow this path. This is the only route that we have, the easiest path that we can probably walk through. We are in the age of Kali, and that's why we are concentrating ourselves mainly in the chanting, And so chanting is the mainstay of all our devotional services. Whatever else you do is an addition and it is good. But Srila Prabhupada has at one place very categorically said that the last thing you leave is chanting. So chanting must be there. It can never be left. And it should be done as you are doing regularly. No need for me to explain to you that you've got to do it with your pure state of mind, with apt attention, and you should do it in with now the tip of the tongue if possible. When you chant with the tip of your tongue, your pronunciations are perfect. You do not mix up with Krishna, Krishna, Krishnu, etc. And when you are trying to pronounce it very well, your attention remains in pronunciation. And so your monkey mind doesn't try and play around elsewhere. It's very important that we do chanting. And I have realized one thing in last 5 years, that the moment you do chanting very well and regularly, the difference starts appearing very, very magnificently in front of you that you are changing. You don't need to do anything more greatly or sort of do something great or a miracle or a heroic thing to achieve the devotional capabilities. In case along with it, if you're doing some pious activities also, it's always good. There is nothing wrong. But it is the chanting which is the main thing, and that's why Srila Prabhupada has given a lot of importance to chanting. Any question? Any?
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Wonderfully said. Everything in sequence.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. We'll spend 5 minutes more in the last part that remains of Ahankara, which most of us we have finished. Can you see the slide on the?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ahankara.
Yeah.
Trigunatmaka Bhagavan.
We have been seeing the Antahakaran or the subtle body. We know now that there are 4 parts of the subtle body: the consciousness, the Ahankar, mind, and intelligence. Let's now finish this last Ahankara part of it. Again, Ahankara is Trigunatmak Bhimana, and it's also Kartritva Madhmadi, or it's also known as heart disease. We have to understand this disease very, very clearly, because when we do not understand, we remain in lots of illusions ourselves. And so how our mind tricks us, intelligence confirms the tricks and made us believe that we are the body, is very easy. False ego, it's always fortified and reinforced by doing certain actions and activities. Those are all material actions and material activities which we are trying to get detached from. Activities like, let's make up ourselves, look beautiful, decorate the body, love the body, etc. And love yourself more than you should. Those are the actions when performed that reinforces or fortifies our false ego. And false ego is nothing but believing that I am the body and I am the matter, and this world is not an illusion. This is a true world. This must be avoided, or at least when performed, carefully performed under only a guru. The pressure of false ego is quite strong, and that's why very few people can get out of false ego easily. I'm telling you, all of us, we may still be believing that we are out of the false ego, but time and again our actions will tell us, if we are careful and noticing, that we still are bound by false ego, the same feeling that I am the body. So that pressure of false ego is very strong, and hunger born out of pressure of false ego is again very strong, and thus it can lead to lots and lots of problems until you come to a true ego. The issues of the false ego is one gets never satisfied with this material world and the body. And that leads to situations changing and getting and trying and getting more and more. And that pumps up the desires more strongly. And it's like a fire. It goes and becomes a wildfire. So this false ego has to be contained very strongly in the initial phases of our bhakti. And until it is done, this can lead to lots of disaster and one of the many important causes of falling down in our spiritual path. When the false ego is gone or the influence is free, it doesn't affect you, then it is called a guna, which is humility. If you have developed strong humility, that means your false ego has probably gone. These effects are seen in the three modes, as this is three gunatmak false ego. When it is goodness, the potency of becoming a pandit or panditya increases, and we feel that I know. I know is Jnana Shakti, or it is also known as Jnana Tritva. When we are in the mode of passion, it's power of the people. It always say, I can do it, or I am doing it. And that is Kriya Shakti, or Kartritva. And when it is in mode of ignorance, the pleasure of possessions, you know, once someone possesses something, they don't want to leave, as they say, on my dead body. I possess, and that is known as Dravya Shakti or Bhoktrutva. So these three Shaktis are produced from ego, false ego, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti. If we look at the whole thing, before I go to that, we looked at the Ahankar. There are four aspects, each function of each of them. Chitta, which is the awareness of the self or becoming conscious of the thing. Ahankara is the appropriation. Mind, is it possible pleasurable or not, sorry. Buddhi is, it makes the sense of objects. Then we learned about each one's actual function. Like for an example, consciousness or chitta takes a picture of something. And then the process of picture, it leads to ahankar, mind and intelligence. Ahankar actually appropriates things, whether this is good for you or not good for you. Mind sees it that it is pleasurable or not. And intelligence makes sense of what is seen. And we learned about Chaturvyuha. Subbarao Prabhuji, you are there?
Prabhuji.
Yes, this is the answer to your question.
Yes.
Sankarshana, the first Sankarshana leads to Narayana, and that leads to second Sankarshana, and then all the four Chaturvyuha. And I looked at and asked few of the senior devotees, and they feel that Pradyumna and Aniruddha, etc., are the children of Krishna, who are the deities for the mind and intelligence. I'm still looking for an answer. When I confirm everything from Shastra, I'll tell you. Okay? Hare Krishna.
This
Any
first
question?
part,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Very nice, Prabhuji. The first part in the Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, they are the army of Sri Krishna Vasudeva.
Yeah.
That was mentioned in the first canto, 5th chapter. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any question, any doubts, any problems, any issues? If none, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nama Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Koti Vaishnav Ki Jai. Hare Krishna to everyone. Thank you very much for attending the class. I really appreciate that. Thanks for giving your association to me. And all of you have a wonderful
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Pramana.
Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji. Pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam.